This video is for anyone who needs help with an article critique assignment for their online class. Everyone needs to do article critique assignments in grad school, especially teachers, nurses, and anyone studying business administration. I'm going to give you a strategy for getting through your article critique, and it's called Pretend You're a Kid in the 5th grade doing a vocabulary lesson. This is going to be really simple. This strategy is provided by Dr. My Document of Boston. You can have someone follow your instructions and write papers for your online class every week. Busy people send assignment instructions to help@drmydocument.com and have original papers written by real people in clear, plain academic English. Dr. My Document is a network of writers in the United States, and they know how to save you a lot of time with papers and discussion posts for your online classes. In order to critique a quantitative or qualitative research article, it's necessary for you to become an expert at research methodology. Methodology is the study of research methods. You really can be an expert at research methodology. All you really need to do is practice using some new vocabulary words. Even if you think you're not good at writing papers, you can still easily understand research methods if you remember that it's all one big lesson in vocabulary. Let's be clear about what it means to be an expert. There's so much disagreement among academics about which research methods are best and the best methods to use each of the different methods that the only thing we can say for sure is that all of the experts know the same vocabulary words. Many of them understand the words, the terminology associated with research methods differently from one another. And with so much difference in understanding and opinion, the only thing common to all of them is that they all know what the words mean. So you won't be as intimidated by the task of learning about research methods and doing article critiques if you remember that it's all just about learning the vocabulary, just like little kids in school have to learn new vocabulary words. And you can definitely do that. When it comes to critiquing a published journal article, you may have trouble figuring out how you're going to criticize this article, because the article was obviously written by someone who has more experience with this stuff than you have, so it kind of doesn't make sense for you to try to criticize the article. And if that's how you feel when you're trying to do your article critique assignment, I think you're right. There probably is not much room for criticism. That's why I say doing your article critique assignment really is all about finding ways to use the vocabulary words that you're learning. So even if you feel like you might be missing something that you're supposed to do, or you might be misunderstanding part of it, all of that's okay. Just use the words as well as you can and get through the assignment and see what advice you get from the professor in the feedback after the article critique assignment is graded. Try using this strategy called Pretend You're a Kid in the 5th grade doing a vocabulary lesson. The study of research methods is all about learning new terms and using those terms. Just write a paragraph about each term you learned in class and use that term to say something about the article being critiqued. The terms they teach during the first few weeks of your research methods class are like vocabulary words that they want you to learn. Here's an example. This week in class, one of the terms you learned was validity. Validity is a word they use when they're talking about whether the research design actually measures what it's supposed to measure. It's simple, right? If I say I'm doing research to find out about the effect of Christmas music on job satisfaction of shopping mall security guards, I need to make sure I design a research study that actually does show me the difference made by Christmas music for their job satisfaction. I have to do what I say I'm going to do. I could plan a study where I ask 10 shopping mall security guards to complete a job satisfaction survey in October when there's no Christmas music. And then I could have them complete the same survey again in December after they heard a lot of Christmas music. That way the survey responses will show me if the shopping mall security guards are having more job satisfaction when there's Christmas music playing. And that would be how I present my study. If you were critiquing an article about my study, it would be easy for you to criticize its validity. Remember, validity refers to the extent to which a research study is measuring what it claims to be measuring. You could point out that in my study, it doesn't make any sense to assume that Christmas music is the only factor affecting their job satisfaction. Lots of factors influence job satisfaction besides what music is playing. So if I designed a study this way, you would criticize me when you get to the part of your article critique where you talk about the validity. Even though my intention is to measure the effect of Christmas music on job satisfaction, my study does not really achieve that. It doesn't make sense for me to assume that a difference in their job satisfaction resulted from what music was playing.
So critiquing an article involves the use of critical thinking, which is another way to say common sense. Here's another example. What if I use a qualitative design and specifically asked shopping mall security guards, how much does Christmas music affect your job satisfaction? Maybe the title of my study will be The Effect of Christmas Music on Job Satisfaction, Insights from Shopping Mall Security Guards. My intention is to collect data that reflects a shopping mall security guard's insights about the question, and then that is exactly what I do. That means I have better validity. My study measures what it's intended to measure. Since my validity is better in this example, let's look at another of the vocab words that you learned during your first weeks of grad school: sampling. You learned about several methods of sampling, but you don't know enough to give detailed criticism about sampling. You don't even know all the different sampling methods: convenience sampling, snowball sampling, stratified sampling, purposeful sampling, random sampling, but you can still use common sense and say something about the study that you're doing an article critique for. If I ask this question about job satisfaction to 10 mall security guards, and I claim that I'm doing a study that will provide insight about the effect of Christmas music on job satisfaction, then there's a problem, because the ideas of those 10 security guards don't reflect the experiences of everyone who has a job. They don't even reflect the experiences of all shopping mall security guards. The opinions of these 10 people don't reflect anything other than these 10 people, and some of them may not even like Christmas music at all. So even though my study has better validity this time, because it measures what it's intended to measure, you can still criticize it because the sample size is too small and the results can't be generalized across any larger population. You can write, one limitation of this study is the small sample size. That's an example of something you could write in your article critique. You can also elaborate and suggest some ways to improve the sample. You can write, one limitation of this study is the small sample size. The researcher only collected data from 10 individuals, so the data cannot be generalized across larger populations within the general workforce. You can also write something different. Anything you write is okay, as long as you're using the word sample to talk about the article you've been asked to critique. When you're done with that, move on to the next term taught in your class. Write about that term and use it to say something about the article that you're critiquing.
Continue like that until you've used every term taught in your research methods class.
I hope this strategy makes it easy for you to complete your article critique now. Just think of it like a vocabulary lesson in the 5th grade. You learn new words and you have to practice using them. But if you get stuck, you can email your assignment instructions to help@drmydocument.com.